Good morning, everyone. It's Katie Crystal here from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants. Welcome back to your weekly Aquatic Industry Insider. If you're new to this series, I cover articles that crossed my desk this week that have an impact on the aquatics industry for some reason or another. They flagged my interest, or they flagged a change in the industry, or they flagged an ongoing problem. So we've got a couple of articles for this week. This week was August 7th to 13th, 2022. I've got 5 different articles I want to cover with you. First article this week that I found really interesting was from globalnews.ca. This article is entitled Vernon, BC Doctor Identified as Drowning Victim, and it was posted on August 8th, 2022. So drowning continues to be a leading cause of accidental death, primarily for children, but also we see this in Canada in our outdoor activities, swimming in the summer, participating in boating activities. And unfortunately, there continues to remain a stereotype that certain types of people might be immune from drowning. And so the significance of this article for me was really highlighting that drowning can happen at any time, any place, irrespective of socioeconomic status or trade, profession, location. And for the details of this article, let me just read you the first couple of lines. The Vernon man who is believed to have drowned while saving a child from the strong currents of the Thompson River has been identified as Dr. Michael Matandazo. Remembered online by friends and colleagues for his kindness and compassion as a professional, Mandazo was at a recreational soccer tournament when he went for a swim with his son. The water current started to speed up, and although he was able to help his son out of the water, he wasn't able to get out himself. So we don't have a lot of details, drawing conclusions just from what's reported. If it was a soccer tournament, it's a hot day. Vernon, BC is the lake area of interior BC. It's hot. You want to cool off. You make the spontaneous decision to go for a swim without knowing the circumstances of the water in that area. Rivers can be very deceptive in terms of their depth, in terms of the current, the strength of the flow, potential adverse conditions like mud that can drag down your feet, rocks on which you can get injured. And so we never place blame on somebody for getting into one of these situations, but I do, as a lifeguard and lifeguard instructor trainer, look at these scenarios and say, how did we fail, or how did the community, how can it do better in terms of educating about the risks when people make these spontaneous decisions to go swimming? Another article I want to cover is also related to drowning. You're going to see a lot of drowning stories because it is the summer and there is a huge uptick in the number of reported drownings as compared to, let's say, in December or February, when in North America, in Canada, it gets very cold, it's snowing outside, and people are not seeking out conditions where they can swim outside of lifeguarded environments. This next article is from newcanadianmedia.ca, and it's titled 6-year-old dies weeks after being found floating in swimming pool, and it's dated August 9th, 2022. One of the biggest challenges we have in the water safety and drowning prevention industry is the lack of understanding of in-hospital fatalities, non-fatal drownings with morbidity, medical complications, or drowning as in submersion that happens that doesn't immediately lead to death. This is one of the biggest obstacles to accurate reporting, accurate intervention, accurate education. You'll see many, many articles every week about near drowning, and there is a submersion of the person. They are underwater, their brain is deprived of oxygen, but because they don't die on the spot in the pool area, they're not considered a fatal drowning. They are often taken to hospital where their quality of life is evaluated. And this is, I thought, a very accurate article to explain the circumstances after the rescue that are often missing from the news media, either through lack of awareness, lack of understanding, or it just makes the story that much sadder. Barely a month after starting their new lives in Canada, a Nigerian couple are grieving the death of their 6-year-old who was taken off of life support at Health Sciences Centre on the weekend. This was in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The boy never regained consciousness after he was found floating in the outdoor swimming pool at about 2 p.m. on July 21st at the Valley Gardens townhouse complex that the family had just moved into 2 weeks earlier. That sort of explicit explanation about the circumstances that he was recovered from the pool on July 21st and that he was taken off of life support, that he did not survive 2 weeks later, is the kind of journalistic reporting we really need in these instances. There's just a real lack of understanding of how these situations go. A lot of people perceive that the rescues are successful if you get the person out of the water, and that's only the first step in the treatment and potential recovery. The brain is damaged with extended periods of time without oxygen, and so it could be 30 seconds until the person is rescued, or if it's 5 or 6, 7 minutes, they're not going to be able to recover and experience the same quality of life that they had before. There's many different articles that you can find online for different groups and individuals who are working to rehabilitate their children, particularly who have been hurt by these types of incidences. Next 2 articles I have are a little bit more positive, and they show an interesting theme that we're seeing in aquatics, especially since we've had all these staffing issues with the pandemic. So when we're thinking about North American society, people are living longer. So there is the saying, 60 is the new 30, meaning that the age of 60 is no longer the back end of life, that it is still relatively early in your lifespan if you're going to live to be 80 or 100. So this first post is pretty amazing. I believe it was shared as a recruitment post, but it really does tell a great story from the American Red Cross. And it really just highlights that you're never too old to do something new. It is primarily your state of mind, your intent, your willingness to learn, your commitment to doing something new. I think that really showcases these gentlemen who've become lifeguards later in life. At 77 and 78 years old, brothers James and Tom became Red Cross certified lifeguards together. While James became one to occupy himself after retirement, Tom did so because he enjoys a challenge and competing with his brother. So this Facebook post goes through to talk about how they were motivated to become lifeguards after talking with lifeguards at the facility that they have been patronizing for about 10 or 12 years. They started out with the brick test, which is retrieving an object from the deep end of the pool and swimming with it, and then eventually trained to become certified as lifeguards. They talk about the community that they enjoy, being on staff, and it's just a really good news story, I think, that highlights that, it's never too late in life to make a change, never too late in life to discover a passion. And that really leads to the other article I happened to see this week that I thought was really wonderful from the New York Times. So the New York Times has had this series now for 6 or 8 months called It's Never Too Late. And it's a series about people who decide to pursue their dreams on their own terms, often later in life, right? So it's people who've made a career shift, a life change, a significant move after they've been in a sort of routine for a while. This article is called It's Never Too Late to Take Up Water Polo. Mark Braley, 86, has spent the last decade playing a particularly challenging team sport. Is he good? No, but that's not the point. This was posted on August 8th, 2022. And it's a really astounding story because this individual, Mark, he started water polo at age 76, and he had no background as a competitive swimmer, no background as a water polo player. He's not somebody who's coming back to the sport later in life. He talks about how he got connected to this Masters Club League, so older participants, with a friend who moved to this area in California. And it has become a passion for him. And he talks about the different lessons that he's learned, the inspiration that he is for the younger players who see that they can keep playing later. And he talks about the physical fitness benefits as somebody who is looking to stay active, and just really a really wonderful article if you have a few minutes to read it. A lot that we can learn when we sometimes get stuck on it's hard, or I can't, or I'm too old. And having played water polo myself in high school, it's a really hard sport. It's very cardio intensive, requires a lot of energy, bursts of energy to sprint, swim different ends of the pool. It's a very, very difficult sport. Some people call it rugby in the water with the physical contact and the checking and blocking. But just a really wonderful article to see that, aquatics is beneficial at all ages. And not everybody's into swimming laps. Some people are into water polo. Some people are into synchro or artistic swimming. Some people are into diving or snorkeling or scuba. Such a variety of opportunities to engage in and around water. Last two things I want to mention quickly, more visual articles than anything else. The first was a Jeep reported in a swimming pool. These come up every once in a while, and I never want to make light of somebody's situation driving. You don't know the circumstances that led to the accident, but I do find them always really interesting when you see the photos of the cars in the pool, because it defies at least how my brain processes a big object getting into the pool. You can also sometimes see the videos where the tow truck companies and the hoists are brought in to remove the car from the pool. And this particular instance this week reminded me, because of the boxy shape of the Jeep, it reminded me of this famous case back in 2018 in Las Vegas, Nevada, where a U-Haul truck, a box truck, was in the bottom of a backyard swimming pool.
A parking job goes off the deep end. A U-Haul truck landing in an empty swimming pool.
Really incredible footage. It just defies comprehension how the pool was unharmed, the car was unharmed, the driver was unharmed, or I should say the truck was unharmed. Really cool footage. I haven't seen anything like it before. Last thing I want to mention is we are still continuing with our Ruth Lee lifeguard rescue mannequin videos. And the reason we're doing these videos is just to demonstrate the versatility of this product. Now, I bought this product myself because I love it. I use it when I train lifeguards. I use it when I run in-services. This is not sponsored by the company in any way. We don't get any referral, revenue, anything like that. But the versatility of this product is something that a lot of lifeguards I've run into haven't really considered. They are only really using it for their submerged or their unconscious victim recoveries. And I want to expose people to the way in which you can use different equipment, or really it's advantageous for things like removals from different basins, different carries, different drills, different fitness activities. And so you'll see those Ruth Lee videos getting posted every week on our YouTube channel. We have about 18 videos coming up. If you haven't seen the ones already posted, check out that playlist. We'll link to it above. That's it for this week. I'll be back next week with any articles that cross my eyes and cross my desk that I think are important to the aquatic industry. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the box below, and we'll catch you again next week.